Hey everybody, it's Karina with Karina Loves to Plan. Thank you for joining me in my little corner of the internet. And today I'm going to take you through to all of the London and Edinburgh stationery stores that I visited on my most recent vacation with my family. Here's a quick preview of the places that I visited. And I'm so thankful for my family for having the patience to come along with me to all of these stores. So I'll give you a little tour of each and then show you my haul at the end. The first place I visited was Papersmiths in London on Pavilion Road, and I love how fun and vibey the Pavilion Road was. And Papersmiths had such a subtle, I guess, sign over their store that I almost missed it. And there's a huge wall of greeting cards, but also notebooks and even travelers' company. And what I love about stationery stores is that the way that they're organized and the way that they do their branding and marketing really stands out to me. I think the way that they organize their books in a way that's calming, that doesn't look cluttered, is really important to me. There weren't a ton of fountain pens here. What I did find were a lot of Kavecos, so I didn't buy any fountain pens here, but look at all the books that they have as well, and then the other stationery that they had, such as clips and other types of pens and washi. And I came out of here with a little something, but I also loved the bag as well. Papersmiths, where happiness has many forms, and new stationery is one of them. The next is Present and Correct. This was around the corner from the British Museum. And the look of this place was very modern, almost like IKEA, with how neat and straight everything was set up. Everything was very organized in its own place. And it just felt very neat for a stationery store. Very modern, very similar to my local stationery store stylist with how they organize things here. But there are a lot of stamps, glue, and not just fountain pens and fountain pen ink, but anything for a stationery lover. So lots of stamps, paints, markers, crayons, pencil crayons, paper clips, stickers. Although saying that, what I struggled finding was vinyl stickers that I wanted to add to my travel collection. They had lots of cards here as well and some books, and they had different pencils that you could try. There were so many things on the tables that were there for you to try, which I really appreciate, especially when it comes to writing utensils. But look at how neat everything is arranged here. And then look at all of the different washi and the different pencils. This is so appealing to see it arranged in this way. Love it. In terms of the fountain pens, they only had the brand of Kaweco, and they didn't really have any other inks here as well. But I really did appreciate how they had Galen leather, for example. Really, really great, simplistic, minimalist store. The next one is London Graphic Center, not too far from Leicester Square Station. I loved this store because it was huge. I love the welcoming sign as you come in, and then the huge rows of stickers. Gosh, this was a dream to see all of these stickers all in one place, and I was so happy to see them. And even all the washi. Look at that. Yes, they had air, all of the fans going because there was no AC, but stickers upon stickers. This was probably the biggest stationery store that I encountered on my travels, and this had two floors. So, whoever suggested coming to the London Graphic Center, thank you so much because I enjoyed myself so much here. There was so much to look through: notebooks, pens, markers, anything that you could think of that a stationery lover would want. And they even had, and it's going to show you here, like Rhodia products and Midori and even Kokuyo. There was a lot here that I couldn't even really capture all of them. There's Leuchtturm, and they did have a few fountain pens as well, which I'll show at the end here. But I love all of these toolboxes. Obviously, I couldn't buy as much as I wanted to, but there wasn't really anything that was top of mind for me to buy. But it was just so interesting to see what was here as well. Those Kakuyo pen cases, I know they're also available at Atlas. And then you have all of the alcohol ink markers. I just love how everything is displayed here. I could have spent probably at least another half hour in here looking through everything and making sure I didn't miss anything either. And then they had the display tables out with the washi and the stamps. They did have some fountain pen ink here as well from Tom Studio, so that was really cool to see. And then all of this washi. This was a bit overwhelming for me to look through, but wow, look at all that washi. And then they went through a few more pencil cases and leather cases. They did have platinum pens, like platinum preppies, and a few inks as well, like you see here from Tom Studio and Herbon and Kaweco. And those were the selections of the pens and the inks that I could see. And some Koh-i-Noor stuff as well. And then when we go into a different section here, some more from Faber-Castell, Graphon Faber-Castell, and Pentel. Really, anyone would love coming into the store and can spend at least an hour looking through everything. And then a whole other section. There's my family being so patient as I walk through the whole store here and with their different pouches and cases. It's so hard trying to summarize a store like this because I was trying to take video, but also do my own shopping. And then there was a whole section here. I'm like trying to remember, what is this section? Oh, paintbrushes. This was a whole second floor of paintbrushes and paints and canvases. So they had separated out the two different floors. And then I'm standing on the stairs here, just overlooking the whole first floor. It's a huge store, and I highly recommend that anyone who comes to London definitely visit the London Graphic Center because it's fantastic and there's just so much to see. And then this was their fountain pen collection near the cash register. So they had some Esterbrook, and I think there were some from Kenro as well, and some Lamy too, and Kaweco. And this is what I came out with. Next, we have choosing keeping. Unfortunately, they didn't allow any filming. This wasn't too far from London Graphic Center, but I just have to say the store was so cute and the people who helped me were fantastic. I'm just sorry that I couldn't film in there. Next, Selfridges. This was on Oxford Street, and this was a recommendation, I think from, I can't even remember where, but they had a small stationery section that had really high-end pens like ST DuPont, Caran d'Ache, Hugo Boss. I didn't know Hugo Boss did fountain pens, but they also had a few Mont Blancs as well. So these were definitely out of my price range, not something that I would normally go for, but it was so cool to see what they had. I think this was really definitely more high-end stuff. I mean, look at all the Mont Blancs here. And then I'm going to show you a Mont Blanc that I saw that was 21,000 pounds. Oh my goodness. And then in a different section, they had some Traveler's Company along with a few other notebooks. And then this section also had some books and stickers and some washi as well. So they had a good mix of both. But for fountain pens, it was really the high-end stuff. And I didn't see any fountain pen inks that I had wanted to purchase, but it was a lot of ballpoint pens or gel pens, some washi, things like that at Selfridges. So it was nice to be able to go and pop into this big, huge department store, which actually I had never been to before. Now we have Paper Tiger. This is actually in Edinburgh, and they have a couple of locations here. So I love that they were featuring Tom's Studio inks, and I kind of feel bad that I didn't buy one actually. And then they have all of their notebooks with their greeting cards and more fun post-it notes and stickers. So this was more of, I think, like a fun, what can I call it? It's stationery, but also fun gift ideas. Not a ton of fountain pens, if any, but a lot of ballpoint pens, some stickers, and some just fun stationery items that I really, really enjoyed looking through. And even my son was looking through some of the novelty items. That was the word I was looking for, novelty items as well. And looking through some more notebooks here. Again, there's just so much to look through, and I feel like I could have spent way more time. And here's what I bought. I'll show this towards the end as well. And I found a second location of Paper Tiger near, I think, Rayburn. And this one was a bigger location that had a few more things that the other location didn't have. A little bit more novelty items, but then they had a whole little wall of stickers. And then this whole section had a few more fountain pen ink items and a few more washi and stickers. Again, a stationer's dream to be able to see this and some more Tom Studio inks. I'm kind of kicking myself now for not buying any Tom Studio inks, but look at all of the stickers and the notebooks and the letter writing packs. It was just really cool to see all of this. And I really had to restrain myself to not buy a whole ton of things, but I'm not a great buyer when it comes to spontaneous purchases like this. I really have to sit with the purchase for a while before I can commit. But then the whole wall of cards is fantastic. Next, we went to the Right Stuff, which was really just down the road from Paper Tiger, and I really loved this store. It was smaller, only about 2 aisles that you could go through, but this store was packed. So nothing like, for example, Present and Correct, which is a little more neat and modern, but this one they packed as much as they could into those 2 aisles. So a lot of Post-its and pens and stickers and a whole bunch of inks as well. So I am now home and I'm going to go through my haul from all of the shops that I visited. And it's not a crazy haul. I really wanted to be mindful of my spend, but also the amount of space I had in my suitcase and really just get things that were going to remind me of those specific stationery stores and things that I would actually use. So this bag is from the London Graphic Centre and kept everything in here. So let me take everything out. So the first store I visited was Papersmiths in Chelsea on Pavilion Road, and it was a really lovely road, and it was just pedestrianized. Really loved it. And I found this decorative pet tape, and I'm actually going to take this apart and then show you. So the name of the pet tape is In Search Of, and this is what it looks like. I feel like such a novice when it comes to pet tape and opening them up. I got it. All right, so the only thing with this pet tape is that I will have to cut out each and every individual one, which I'm not a fan of, but I will do it for this one. These are really cute. You've got more abstract, loose florals, and you've got that girl there. These are really cute. And I wanted to get something that I wouldn't normally purchase, but I would still end up using. So these are really lovely and playful and yeah, a little bit abstract. Not something that I would normally go for, but there's quite a bit to this pet tape. Oh, that's lovely. Oh, look at the dog. Is the dog having a poop? Oh my goodness. And then it stops there. So it's quite a good length actually. But that was my purchase from Papersmiths. And that was the first stationery store I went to, and it was lovely. So that was my first purchase. Then I had a few people recommend that I go to the London Graphic Centre, and I'm so glad that they recommended that I go to this because it was the biggest and probably the most fun. Let me zoom out a little bit here. They had so many stickers, but also just a really great selection of pretty much everything. It was a great stationery store, and I wanted to get things that were specifically London. And now I think the dilemma that I have is, when am I going to use these? Do I want to use these just for like journaling when I was in London? I'm like, no, actually, you know what? I'd be okay with using these throughout the year in my journaling and being able to look back and like, just love London and being able to use these stickers whenever. So then I have the Sotelier Design Days in London. So you've got the bus and you've got the cab, fish and chips, Big Ben, the Tower Bridge, London Eye, British Museum, St. Paul's, Westminster Abbey, and I think that's, oh, I'm not sure what that is, Trafalgar Square and then Lambeth, but really cute stickers. Love that they look or that they are hand drawn. Then the one that I have here is from Midori. And I really like those. So you've got like the full English breakfast, afternoon tea. You've got the scones with clotted cream and jam. Very different looking to the Sotelier ones. And then last but not least, these ones from L'Après-Midi, and these are the stamps that I want to take these out actually because these are decorative, not real. Well, yeah. And I'm wondering if these are just, I don't think they're waterproof. No, I don't think they're waterproof. But those are the 3 stickers that I got from London Graphic Center. I could have actually spent way more time there and looked at all the pens and things, but I was at, I say, at the mercy of my family. They were so great coming with me to all of these shops. So the next place I went to was actually in Scotland. I forgot. After I went to London Graphic Center, I literally walked maybe 5 minutes from there to Choosing Keeping. Now, I couldn't record anything inside the shop, but it was such a cute little store. They had all of these miniature foods as keychains. It was a really, really lovely store. And I ended up buying an ink from them. Also, I just love the sticker. I'm going to try and peel these off gently so that I can put them in my notebook. Oh, am I going to get that? I know this is riveting content, me peeling a sticker from, oh, I think I got, no, I don't. That's okay. I can always glue it down. But I decided to go for this bottle of ink. And I love that it is a diamine ink, but branded in, I guess, the Choosing Keeping. It's got the diamine bottle and it is forest green. I'll swatch it with my other ink that I purchased as well. And then I decided to buy a pen. Now this is not a fountain pen because some of the pens that were in there were really expensive and out of my budget, and London in general is very expensive, and trying to do a family trip and making sure that we can manage everyone but also feed everyone. Oh my gosh, we made the most of meal deals from Sainsbury's and Tesco's, and yeah. Anyway, love that sticker. And they packaged it so beautifully. So I ended up getting, oh my gosh, why is this so difficult for me? This beautiful multi-pen that has Choosing Keeping on the clip, and you've got your blue. I figured this out before. Hold on. How did this work before? And then, how did this work before? Oh, there. And then your red, and then green, and black. So, yeah. I like the look of it. I love the mint color. I also love that there's 4 different colors on here. Similar, I mean, it's similar to like a Hobonichi pen, but this one actually has Choosing Keeping on the clip, which I really like, but I also love that it has green. Really, really fun. All right. So that is my little haul from Choosing Keeping. So now I'm off to Edinburgh in Scotland. Once in Edinburgh, I was recommended to go to Paper Tiger, and Paper Tiger felt more like a gift store. So it had a lot of greeting cards and more fun play stationery things. And there was maybe a few stationery things and a few stickers. And I came away with this sheet from Sotelier Design, Flower Letter. I just really liked how I could use this whenever, but also I was a little disappointed. They didn't have anything that was just Scotland. And actually, I really struggled with that through this trip, trying to find stickers that were more for Scotland or Edinburgh that I could put on my water bottle, for example. I even struggled to find those vinyl stickers for London as well, but I ended up finding it on my last day in London. But I love these because then I'll be able to use these in both my passport planner as well as my journal. So that's Paper Tiger. And then after Paper Tiger, I went to The Right Stuff, and this was on Rayburn Avenue, I believe. And this was a big walking day for me and my family because we went, where did we go? We went to Calton Hill and then to the National Gallery of Scotland, and then we went to Dean Village and then walked along the Leith Waterway all the way to Rayburn. And we were able to, it was actually a really lovely high street. They had a lot of charity shops and little shops that my daughter loved. And then they also had the They had Paper Tiger there too, but because I'd already bought something from Paper Tiger, I didn't purchase from the second location. But the Right Stuff was really cute. And I mean, very small, these stationery stores, but definitely you get a lot in the small spaces. So I ended up purchasing this Bon Voyage sticker set from Sotelier Design. It has a mix of things like Paris and England, but I thought this was just really great to be able to, whenever I'm feeling the urge to want to travel, especially in my journaling, then I could use these as well. And then I saw this from Midori. It's just a planner. There's 2 sheets in here, and these are more planner stickers. And I thought, what a great way to kind of showcase what oh my gosh, the Right Stuff was to me in my journey. And then I ended up buying another Diamine ink. This one is Green Umber. I've had a lot of people recommend this to me, so I'm looking forward to swatching this. And then they also had these stickers at the front, and I asked the person who was working there if I could have their sticker, and they said they had just brought them out that day, and I was the second person to ask for them, so yay. All right, so that is the Right Stuff. Now let's zoom out. So that's my overall haul. Lots of stickers and 1 multi-pen and then a couple of inks. Let's go ahead and swatch these. Now, would you have been as restrained as I was in these stores? I'm not sure. I was very happy with what I purchased. So let's go ahead and swatch these 2. So I'll be swatching in my Hobonichi A5 notebook with 52 GSM Tomoe River paper, and I'm going to be swatching with my Browse ornament nib. This is in the 3mm size, and this is on a River City Penco nib holder. And I'm also going to be doing a writing sample with the Kakimori stainless steel nib, again on a River City Penco nib holder. So we have the Choosing Keeping Forest Green, which is basically a Diamine ink. I'm going to zoom in for this. One thing I have to say is that I think I packed this pretty well. This went in my checked bag and there was no leaking or anything, so it went really well. Ooh, I like that. It goes really well with the Choosing Keeping sticker, actually. Oh, that's lovely. I'm going to add a little bit more to some of the areas so you can see a little bit more of the shading. Now, the only thing I'm afraid of is if this is a bit of a sheener, and I hope it isn't. Oh, I almost dipped my Browse ornament nib in my drinking water. Oh, we don't want that. So this is basically Choosing Keeping or Diamine. Forest Green. I like that a lot. I'm a big fan of Diamine inks. They have never really done me wrong. That is a lovely, lovely green. So that's the Choosing Keeping Forest Green. But I also love the fact that the bottle I mean, it's a Diamine bottle, but it's got Choosing Keeping's own little label, and it just looks different. For me, it's the whole thing for the glass bottle and the label. Love it. Next, we have Diamine Green Umber, and this is the one that I purchased from the Right Stuff in Scotland, in Edinburgh. So it feels good, well, to me, that I bought an ink and one in London, but one in Edinburgh as well. Oh, I like that one too. And I like that it does look different from the one above, which I think actually is a little bit of a sheener. But I think maybe I'll be able to get over that. Doesn't seem to sheen. This one does not seem to sheen, but Forest Green in the bigger swatches looks like it does sheen. Whereas in the writing sample, I think it'll be okay. Adding a little bit more there. I really like this one. They had a whole swatch book that I was looking through, and that was quite fun as well. So we've got Diamine, And this one is green umber. Now I know some people are like, why couldn't you just purchase this at home? And my local stationery shop, Stylus, has diamine inks, but not in this size. And I didn't want to buy the bigger 80 ml bottle. Oh, I really like that one. That's beautiful. So that's diamine green umber. So I'm just looking through my different green ink sample swatches, and I originally thought that Pilot Iroshizuku Shinryoku was going to be similar to forest green, but this is definitely a brighter green. It's got more sheen for sure. And then somebody asked me if I had ever tried Sherwood green, and I have, but I don't have a sample of it anymore. This is Sherwood green. This is definitely brighter than forest green. I thought maybe they're the same one, just under a different name. But if they are the same one, just under a different name, please let me know. There is a little bit of sheening on both of them. This just feels a little bit brighter of a green. And then I'm just trying to find what else would be similar to that, but it's more of a dark. Just trying to think here. Ooh, I was looking at Caran d'Ache Vibrant Green, but this one's lighter with definitely a lot more sheen on that one. And then looking through all of my green inks. Oh, somebody had sent me Choosing Keeping Holly. That one sheens like crazy. Yeah, definitely not for me. I am not a sheening ink connoisseur. For anyone who isn't familiar with my videos, yeah, sheening inks aren't for me. Then we have Diamine Canal Side. I thought these would be similar, but this one is leaning a little bit warmer. And let me see. I really should do a video soon of all of the green inks I have, because I have accumulated quite a few recently. And then possibly Lamy Peridot. No, this one's a little bit brighter in the swatch, a little bit more teal towards that. But then if we look at Diamine Green Umber, then we have a few that could possibly match this one. I thought that Lennon Toolbar Bird Monster was actually a very good match for that one. Very, very similar. And then I was also looking at some of the inks that I had purchased recently. So Oblation Papers is a little bit warmer, and Colorverse Dodong Forest there's a bit more brown in that. Then Waringal Mad Hatter, a little bit lighter of an ink. I feel like Green Umber, when you compare it to those, is leaning a little bit more teal as well. And then if I look through some of my older swatches, I thought that this might be similar to Colorverse Alpha PSC, but actually it's not. It's a little bit, this one is more green and this one is leaning more blue. But then Herbon Vert Degree is definitely looking more blue compared to Green Umber. And then I looked at the swatch that I had of Robert Oster Sydney Darling Harbor. These are very similar, I think. And then what else? I think those are the ones that I find similar to those inks. But so happy with those. I'm just hoping that Choosing Keeping Forest Green isn't too much of a sheener. There is a little bit of sheen happening in my sample here, in the writing sample, and even a little bit in here, so we'll see. So there is my London and Edinburgh haul, and I have to say that shopping in person, especially when you have your family waiting for you, can be a little bit stressful. Oh, I forgot to include this pen as well, because I didn't have as much time as I would have liked to, be able to swatch inks or just look through everything with the time that I wanted to spend in there. And that was unfortunate, but I think it also helped me make sure that I was only buying what I really wanted to. I wasn't going to make any grand purchases without really thinking about it. I find spontaneous fountain pen purchases in a store like that, or even at a pen show, don't always work out for me, which is one of the reasons why I decided not to buy a fountain pen in London or Edinburgh. But also, it's just that much more expensive with the conversion rate. All right, but that is it for me. Thank you all so much for watching and joining me in this vlog. I hope that you enjoyed it. If you have any questions, please let me know. Otherwise, thank you again for joining me, and have yourselves a great day.